Thanks, Goose. A while back we had a look at the first couple of episodes from Season 2 of Telltale's The Walking Dead, a graphic adventure game inspired by the comic book series. The remaining 3 episodes have since been released, so we were keen to see how the season concluded.
Listen, when the shit hits the fan, because it always does, remember that you can make it on your own. It's not an option for everyone. If things start heading south, don't let them drag you down with them.
Everyone we set out with just gone.
Before we go any further, Hex, I think I just need a moment to curl up into a ball and rock slowly backwards and forth.
I know what you mean. I don't think anything could have prepared me for the events that came to pass this season. I mean, I know there's that sense of needing to raise the stakes with each new chapter, but far out, this got heavy.
Yeah, and not to mention visually, I think it's the most shocking we've seen from this series to date.
Well, depending on what choices you make, I guess, but in our playthroughs it certainly was. At one point, I chose to hang around in the hopes that I could convince one character out of exacting revenge on another, but that option just never came, and I was subjected to one of the most graphically violent scenes I think I've ever seen in a video game. And supposedly from the perspective of a little girl. I mean, that was...
Yeah.
Anyway, when we last left Clem, she'd joined up with a new group of survivors. And for a while, things seemed to be going well.
Yeah, tensions were high, but Clementine's strength is definitely keeping rising tempers at bay and helping people to see reason. But you can't carve out a slice of happiness in a zombie apocalypse and expect it to last. Before long, things go south and you and your group are taken captive.
Naturally, it falls on you to try and get the group out of this mess, which often I take issue with as a narrative technique in these kinds of games. I mean, why do I have to do everything?
Come on, kid. Gonna need your help.
Got a dangerous job that needs doing? Get the child to do it.
She's our best bet. I mean that, Clem.
Now or never, I guess.
But since Clem is so small and sneaky, and also people are more trusting of children, I guess, she often is the smartest choice to carry out these kinds of tasks. And that really helps with believability, I found.
Yeah, although those movement controls are as awkward as ever. My main hope for these games moving forward is that they find a smoother, more efficient way of dealing with character movement and environment interaction. Because right now it feels painfully clunky.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind if they just stick to the mouse click stuff for a few quick time actions, but physically moving your character around the environment is just awful. Thankfully, you don't have to do it too often though, so it's not the end of the world.
But even if you click to navigate, the path the AI chooses is just awkward and slow. It just breaks momentum for me and often undoes all of that beautiful tension that they've been building up.
Sometimes they just give you the wrong instructions too. Like being told to hold A when in actual fact you need to press it repeatedly. I can't speak for how this works on other devices, but we reviewed the PC version and that definitely needed some polish.
As far as narrative goes this season, I think there's a definite feeling of futility. You make the best possible choices that you can, but there are often occasions where you feel like there's no way you could achieve a positive outcome no matter what you choose.
Hey.
And it's in those moments that I feel a bit cheated because the gamer in me wants to know that there's a way to beat the system.
Yeah, I like it though, those forced choices where you're put on the spot and you have mere seconds to decide someone's fate.
Jane, don't do it.
I mean, those are the moments that really test your character and help you entertain the idea of what kind of survivor you'd really be if you found yourself in this situation.
Well, that's all well and good, but when I got curious, I went back and replayed some sections and chose the other option just to see what happened. And often the events just play out the same way anyway, so there's less power in your choices than you think, and I find that a bit disappointing.
It would be quite hard though, from a design perspective, to have a zillion different narrative options branching out in different directions. I mean, I think they've handled it quite well.
Fuck! Does this shit ever end?
And, you know, sometimes regardless of what the outcome is, the interesting part is what you chose to do and your reasons why.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And that's why I always hang out for those player stats at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and I suppose a big part of it is the way other characters react to the choices you make too.
We sure have come a long way since we first met, huh? You're a good kid, Clementine.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, one thing we noted very quite distinctly is the ending. There are numerous different outcomes to Season 2, and I think you and I ended up with quite different scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love comparing those endgame percentage stats. I chose an option that landed me with only 19% of other people who chose the same outcome.
Yeah, I think mine was like 38% or something, which is interesting.
Easy. Easy now.
Step back.
I always become hungry to know what other people's choices were and why. Partly because I need to justify my own actions, I think. Like really sell the idea of why I did what I did to people, although I think really I'm just trying to convince myself. What did you think of the conclusion to season 2, Barjo?
All in all, I enjoyed it more than season 1, but I did find it 3 times as emotionally draining. There are definitely parts that were a little slow and laborious, but I think those lulls are offset by extreme moments of brutality, or just the futility of your efforts. This is quite a ride.
Yeah, I agree. Harrowing, but worthwhile.
I'm at the point now, though, where I just need them to smooth out all of those mechanics, but I had a good time. I'm giving it 7.5.
It's 8.5 from me.
In a situation like this, you gotta ask yourself, would they risk themselves for you?